Howdy, y'all. Today I wanted to recommend some books that I think are really essential to the study of traditional witchcraft, but they aren't occult texts. In the initiatory streams, as I'm familiar with them, a lot of the books that students are given to read by their teachers aren't necessarily books on witchcraft, because witchcraft is instructed from the teacher to the student directly. The books that we're often given to read are more like complementary texts that are there to flesh out and correct the worldviews that we inherit from being acculturated in the overculture, in the marketplace world. Because the worldviews curated within traditional witchcraft streams is antithetical and goes against the grain of the overculture in a lot of ways. We are often animist cultures, and we see the world in a very different way than the colonialist, capitalist, white supremacist structure that we're all brainwashed to see the world through. So the first book I want to recommend is Braiding Sweetgrass by Robin Wall Kimmerer. This is a newer text, at least it wasn't published when I was a student, but it came out in 2013. And it is very much written in an animist worldview. Kimmerer is a native of Turtle Island, as well as a biologist, and she is able to speak in story and in science. And for me, that's really exciting because I have a deep love of physics, biology, chemistry, and those sorts of things. And I often use biological metaphors to describe witchcraft. I think that an animist perspective gets us out of our mind streams and into the body, because witchcraft is very much an embodied thing. It is not just in the mind. That's only a tiny part of it. And Braiding Sweetgrass is written as a story. It's written in first person as a series of stories that demonstrate indigenous worldview, woven and braided into a scientific worldview. It's beautiful. She speaks both languages really well, and I think that this book can only enhance your understanding of the spirit world if you are a traditional witch, because it helps you see things in a less abstracted sort of way. And speaking of, the next two books are by the same author that I want to recommend. So we have David Abram, who is a well-known writer to folks who are in sort of leftist and green movements. My own oath mother knew Abram in Earth First. And the first book is Spell of the Sensuous, which is the first of his texts that I read. And this book is all about sort of reframing in an animist way the perception of the world, and how alphabetic abstraction has removed us, how knowing how to read has removed us from a direct experience of reality. His second book, Becoming Animal, is sort of further exploration into rooting us out of our thinking, logical minds into the body. It helps with fetch work. It helps with deepening into the interactive perceptual field amongst all the other spirits. It helps you perceive spirits better by reframing things in this way. Speaking of reframing, this other book that I want to recommend to you lastly is by a mystical writer, Peter Kingsley. He has another book called In the Dark Places of Wisdom that's sort of is sort of a shorter, snappier version of this, but this is reality. And this is his exploration of Parmenides of Elea or Welia and Empedocles. And this book really takes you step by step in a really exciting way on how to encounter this ancient form of philosophy that is at the heart of Western understanding in a lot of ways, but we've forgotten the real meaning of it, and the real meaning of Parmenides' teachings, and it dovetails beautifully with an animist worldview, or is maybe the seed of an animist worldview that kind of comes out of that. Because essentially we understand that, reality is mostly unseen. The maid of the Andorian coven, Rebecca, has a saying that I learned from her that is, for everything that is seen, 9 things are unseen. And that's a fancy way of saying that most of reality is unseen, unknown, other. You only glimpse a small portion of it. And we sort of need to hold that in perspective when we're engaging with the spirit world, knowing that we don't understand or see or perceive everything. And part and parcel, that really encapsulates the fact that we recognize a cosmos that has potentiality, limitless potentiality, that the imagination is the limit for what we can dream and conjure as possible. I really believe that this aspect within initiatory streams or traditional witchcraft, where they are curating and developing and bringing forth an otherworldly culture, a culture that is foreign to all human cultures because it comes directly from the spirit world, and we are agents of that culture, and bringing them forth within our covens to create these little oases of the other world within civilization. I think that's really integral to what these initiatory streams are. But witchcraft gets to be a self-identifying practice. Not every witch needs to practice this way. But to have a meaningful conversation, we have to define our terms. And I needed to zero in on a specific trajectory. This witchcraft in these traditional initiatory streams is both new and old. We're drawing from sources from the past as well as from our direct experience now. We're drawing from trial record and memories of former lifetimes and dreams and contact with spirits and omens and divinations and prophecy, and it is what it is, and it's not going anywhere. I mean, there are hundreds of initiates in my tradition alone. So this is here to stay, and good luck, everyone.